Okay. Hi papillons. Welcome back to my channel. This is Fat Cat and this is the YouTube channel where I will be going into the topics of spirituality, self-development, astrology, sound healing, as well as a segment for my music production experiments. So today we are going to get in the topic of Venus in Gemini. So what does it mean to have your Venus placement in the zodiac sign of Gemini? Now, I'm very excited about this topic, also because my Venus is in Gemini, so it's easier for me to kind of come from that place of knowing and experiencing and feeling what it is like to have a Venus in Gemini. Okay, so what does it mean to have a Venus in Gemini, or to have somebody like a friend or somebody you're attracted to has their Venus in Gemini? What does this signify? How can you use this to your benefit? What are the pros? What are the cons? So, what is the light? What is the shadow of this placement? We're going to explore all of this and more. Okay, so let me start with something that I was thinking about that came to my mind since a few days. Okay, so not a few days, since yesterday. So, I just got my nails done for the first time. It was quite a spontaneous move on my part, because I normally don't get my nails done, because I have always looked at it as an impediment, as something that, oh, like it's gonna make everything harder for me. It's gonna make it harder for me to peel open something or put cream on my face. And while all of that is true, because these are like extensions, right? These are nail extensions, and I see it a little bit as something that's fake, but um, while all of that may be sort of true, now I just realized that there's a parallel between, having my nails done and wearing skates, wearing rollerblades. And they're very similar to one another. And how are these two similar to one another? Both of them are extensions to your normal human functioning and your normal human body. They create a certain limitation and restriction, but at the same time, they're also adding something. So while they're adding something to you, such as beauty, elegance, or like skill, grace, right, they are also subtracting something from you, which is basically they're subtracting your own natural setting, your comfort levels. So you are forced to be uncomfortable, you are forced to try something new. And that is exactly how that connects to the Venus in Gemini. Venus in Gemini loves trying new things. Venus in Gemini is loves to be spontaneous with their partner, specifically because Venus has everything to do with the love language of the person, how they show love, how they reciprocate in a connection, what turns them on. We will be focusing very specifically on that part of what a Gemini does in your Venus sign, right? So, when somebody has their Venus in the sign of Gemini, they love conversations. Okay, first and foremost, they love conversations. But what kind of conversations are we talking about? We are talking about conversations that stimulate them, that excite them, that is something they have not heard about before, that is something they can add to the information that they like to gather, right? They love conversations that intellectually stimulate them, that stimulate their mind, that make them think more, that broaden their horizon or their perspective, that adds to the list of novel and new things that they like to do and experience and feel and be like, right? So the first thing you need to know is that they love having these conversations, not just any old conversations, but especially conversations that are stimulating to them. They love banter, they love having a rapport with somebody. So it's very important for a Venus in Gemini to find somebody who they can have, again, throw toggle ideas, toggle ideas with, and bounce ideas off of, and just play around with ideas. So it's not about settling on a certain right or wrong. The Venus in Gemini is not interested in right or wrong. It is about just playing around with, like, this. There's a whole playground of ideas and concepts, and all they want to do is explore all of them, and not make a judgment on any one of them, and not kind of stick to any one thing, but rather explore the entire playground, because that's all it is about for them. It's all about like a honeybee or like a butterfly from one flower to another, right? So it's all about that kind of variety and exploration. And if you as a partner are able to show them that variety, if you are able to match their level of play, spontaneity, and fun, then they will definitely fall for you also, right? So it's very important for them to have interesting conversations, intellectually stimulating conversations, and to have that back and forth rapport, to make jokes. Humor is very important to them, so you have to humor them, you have to be sarcastic, you have to be inventive in your humor, in your thoughts. You have to kind of mix it up. If you're just going to be serious and regular, they are not going to be interested in you at all. Okay, that's very important for a Venus in Gemini. Okay, now what else can we look at in Venus in Gemini? Okay, Venus in Gemini, just like how a Gemini sun is attracted to multiple things, right? They like to have multiple interests, develop multiple skills, have many friends all across the globe, try different things on social media, try different new things that are new gadgets and so on. And now a Venus in Gemini is also interested in multiple men, okay, or multiple women. So the thing with a Venus in Gemini woman, because I'm speaking from my own experience here, is that a Venus in Gemini woman is attracted to many different people. Okay, now that does not mean that Venus in Gemini is going to um, act on every single impulse that they have, but they like to play around with different people, like not in a negative fuckboy way at all. It could turn into that, that could become a shadow aspect for the Venus in Gemini, so you have to take care of that. If you have a Venus in Gemini, make sure you're not hurting people or leading them on, because this is a shadow side of Venus in Gemini. But looking at the brighter side of it, or looking at the reality of it, I would say that they are attracted to many people because they don't see why not. Just like, we have so many different fruits, we have so many different vegetables, we have so many different permutations and combinations that exist in the world, and they are like, hey, I want a sip of this orange juice, but I also want to try like the strawberry banana smoothie over there, but I also love the chocolate, I love that chocolate Ferrero Rocher shake that they've got there, and I also want to try the sugarcane juice. So, and I also want to try the cucumber mint cooler. So it's like they want to try it all, and they do tend to see men in this similar form, in the similar fashion, or see women. If you're a man with a Venus in Gemini, you tend to see other human beings um, as opportunities to try something new, to as a sort of, oh, what would happen if I, if I went for this guy, and what would happen if I went for this guy. You see people as options. And again, not to throw shade on this, because yes, it can become a shadow trait if you kind of lead the other person on and give them nothing at the end of the day. But it is not a shadow trait, because it is very simple for a Venus in Gemini, is that, hey, the world is my playground, and there is no harm in being playful and having fun and doing interesting things with all these interesting people that surround me. So they actually find everyone interesting, not everyone, but they find many people interesting, and it's very hard for them to settle down and decide on one person to hang out with forever. They get bored of people easily also. So again, if you're a female with a Venus in Gemini, you may want to have multiple partners. Of course, it depends on your other placements, right? So if you have like other fixed placements, you may not want that so much. But if you have other mutable placements, you would definitely do well in like a polyamorous connections, in polyamorous relationships, and you would take it very lightly. You would be like just happy, and you would feel happy and free to have all these different connections at your fingertips or your fingernail extensions. Yeah, so Venus in Gemini loves having fun with their partner. They love keeping it light. they don't like people dragging them down, so they are not going to do well, let's say with a Venus in Scorpio. Again, depends on many other placements, but if somebody has like heavy Scorpio or heavy Capricorn energy, let's say a Venus in Gemini may, or even a heavy Taurus energy, a Venus in Gemini may not do very well with them, because they just feel like this person is too serious for me. They are making everything, they're just dragging everything down, they're killing the vibe. So for Venus in Gemini, it's like this snappy, swift, fun, entertaining vibe that they want to have around them. And if the other opposite sex that they're attracted to, or whoever you could be trans, of course, like whoever you're attracted to, if they can provide you that sort of constant entertainment, constant affection, and not affection in a clingy way, no, but being affectionate, being flirtatious at all times, it's a huge turn on for a Venus in Gemini. They love flirting. So they can flirt with almost anybody under the sun. They really love flirting. Again, I would not call this a shadow trait unless it's taken to that extent where it harms somebody else or hurts somebody else. But they see flirting as harmless. Flirting is second nature to the Venus in Gemini. They love flirting. So they just love that, those witty little banters that happen between two human beings. So they almost don't even see it as flirting, but they are doing it all the time. And that is also a huge turn on for other people. When other people see a Venus in Gemini, they find the Venus in Gemini to be very charming, to be very flirtatious, to be very fun, and they want to be around that person because they want to stick around and see what else can be, what other surprises are in store for them. Okay, so what else can I say about a Venus in Gemini? Yeah, you need to keep them occupied with humorous conversations, with interesting activities, with stimulating ideas. Their mind is kind of always on. They are always thinking about something or the other. So you need to keep them occupied, like how you would keep a child occupied, and a child gets restless and wants to move on to the next thing. You have to make sure you are able to keep up with their pace of exploration and evolution. And you have to be very open minded. That's the other thing. If you are very open minded, then Venus in Gemini will feel very comfortable to be themselves with you, to talk your ear off, to be silly. And they love being silly, they love being cute, they love being quirky. So you have to, if you are open, then they can show you that side of them. But if you are narrow minded and closed, they'll probably not be attracted to you at all. If you are very set in your ways, and you have control tendencies, Venus in Gemini will just run away from you, because they love to explore, they don't like to be controlled, and they do not like to be told what to do or how to do. And they do not judge. They are one of those signs that have a very, they don't judge other people very much, right? They allow people to just be themselves, and they want the same for themselves. They want other people to also let them be, to not judge them, to not be prejudiced against them. And if people are judging their actions, they will move away from that person for sure. They will not think that, oh yeah, that person is right and I need to do that thing because that's morally right. Like for a Venus in Gemini, the morality is very flexible. Yeah, and morality is like it's always shifting. It's always changing directions. They do not have a fixed morality, and if you want to be with them, you have to accept their non-fixed sense of morality, their fluid sense of morality. You have to get with their ambiguous morality. Otherwise, you won't do well with them, and they won't do well with you, right? So being allowing them their freedom, allowing them their space, being open to their thoughts, entertaining them, keeping them on their toes, making them laugh, being silly, being different, being inventive, these are all huge turn-ons for a Venus in Gemini. Okay, so I think that is it for today. That is it for this particular video. It's so cold over here. I'm still in Nepal. It's my last day in Nepal, and I'm feeling so cold. Yeah, and like have conversations with them, likening your fingernail extensions to skating. that's intellectually stimulating for them. That's how I think all the time, because I do have that placement. So have these, make analogies that would otherwise seem strange, and explain that analogy to them, and they're just going to be like, oh yeah, I never saw it that way, or oh my god, I see it that way. So keep them on their toes, and keep your energy bright, keep your energy light if you want to get with a Venus in Gemini, because Venus in Gemini is like a firecracker. They're always bright, they're always they have more of an optimistic outlook on life, they have a swift mind, and they don't like to be weighed down. Okay, okay, sweethearts, okay, papillons, see you, bye.